Good morning. This is Todd McMillan of Good Dog Home Inspection. I'm here with Susan Gregory of Susan Gregory Realtor, representing Songbird Homes. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
I've known you for a little bit, and I think you are what I would call successful. So, what got you into real estate?
It was really happenstance. I worked as a bookkeeper for a builder for a period of time, and then I just kind of morphed myself into managing their HOAs and personal rental properties. And then the owner asked me if I'd ever thought about being a realtor because they needed a realtor that they would like, and they thought I would be good at it. So I said, okay.
You saw a good opportunity, and they saw good potential in you.
hmm
So, how long have you been doing real
I've
estate now?
been in real estate for 14 years now.
Wow. Okay. Are you enjoying it?
I still love it. It fits me perfectly for the just my nature and my personality. It's very relational, but also very business and professional at the same time. Those are ideals for me.
So, is everything you dreamed of, and is it different, better, or worse than you thought it would be?
It's always different because real estate is just different. You're working with different people at different times, even in their different times in their personal lives, but different times in the economy, in the marketplace. It's always going to be different. And actually, that's what I enjoy most about it because it's ever changing.
How was your startup when you first started?
I was very fortunate because I work with the builder directly, so I've got all of their listings and have been working with builders my whole career as well. In addition to doing my all of my own personal business, but I was pretty fortunate to be able to start out with just product inventory to sell.
Okay, so you had a warm leads business
Very
going
much
already.
so. Yeah.
Okay. So for those new real estate agents who aren't so fortunate, they're bright-eyed and they get into it and they don't make a sale for a year or 6 months or whatever.
Mhm.
What is your advice for holding out or motivation?
You really have to know what your personal plan is, what's going to work for you and your family, your household. It takes a lot of energy and effort and relating to other people, spending time with other people, connections is really where you have to be. You have to spend your time and energy with those connections to get your name out there, to get people to think of you when they think of someone buying or selling a home.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a lot related to personal goals, not just some big industry standard of this is what success looks like.
Absolutely. For me personally, it's all of my goals are always going to be personal first because my faith and my family and my circumstance are all going to feed around my business. I have to prioritize those in the way that works well for me. So making sure that when you're starting that you're going in with that in mind. You're not going to be able if you have a family, you're not going to be able to work 50 hours a week straight out any time of day or night if you've got young children. You have to be realistic about what's out there. You also have to be realistic about what's in the marketplace at the current time too.
Those crazy realtor hours.
They are crazy realtor hours. That's just what it is.
I was talking to a young realtor just recently, and that's one thing he was not really prepared for. You mentioned the word prioritize.
Mhm.
What are some real time wasters that new realtors get in the habit of that are not added value?
I think a lot of realtors spend a lot of time with other realtors and not in a way to build their experience and exposure, but in a way just thinking that somehow that's going to, by osmosis, turn them into a successful realtor. You need to be with people who are looking for realtors, not other realtors. A lot of people do a lot of networking with other realtors. That will get you only so much business that someone thinks, oh, you have just the right listing for my just the right buyer. That's not going to happen nearly as often as if you're spending time at open houses, holding open houses, meeting actual buyers coming in and out of the office of the homes to see the homes. That's where you're going to get more generation.
So we need mentors, but we need to put some feet on it at some point.
Absolutely.
So you just mentioned the flip side of that, holding open houses. What are the good things that they really should be doing? Expand on that a little bit.
Open houses are great for being out there and meeting buyers. As a listing agent, they're not necessarily where you're going to find a buyer for that house, but it's more often than not a better opportunity for realtors to find clients than it is for a homeowner to find a buyer. It's just the opportunity, the exposure to get out there, to get your sign out on the street so somebody sees, oh, there's an open house, we'll swing by there. Put your name on the open house sign so people like, oh, that's Susan having an open house down the street. They start seeing your name at open house signs or riding around their neighborhoods. That's going to build their awareness in your market.
So you're with Songbird Homes. Tell me what you consider success and how you found that success at Songbird.
Selling houses is obviously the success. That
Right.
I mean, it's just very basic in that, but it's learning to become a good representative of your seller. Period. It doesn't matter what house you're selling. If you're listing a home, you're representing the seller and their home. So making sure you know what your seller, what's important to them. For new construction, for a builder, they are very proud of their work. Most of them are. Some of them maybe shouldn't be, but most of them are. They're proud of their work. And so you have to represent who they are in the community. And that's what I've done with Songbird Homes in the years that I've been working for them, because they started out, asked me, would you represent us? And I said, well, it depends. Tell me who you are. And they were smart enough to say, well, we have some room to decide who we are. What do people want? So I was able to help them figure out what they wanted to be in the marketplace and then represent that to the community of realtors, the community of inspectors, the community of appraisers and buyers as well.
Mm. So we mentioned the first time realtor. Here's another first time, the first time buyer. What are some of the common pitfalls you see with their expectations, and how do you help them handle that?
It's right now, the biggest thing, the most important thing is that they need to do is to make sure they have a pre-approval from a qualified, preferably local lender. So they actually have someone who knows the market, knows the timelines and all of the things like that. Having a lender who can help you figure out plan A, plan B, and plan C. So as for instance, now the interest rates are a little high. Okay, can you do some other type of loan that will help with the payments now? Doing an ARM, for instance. Those are the ARMs of today are not the ARMs of yesteryear when they were a nightmare. But doing something where you've got a temporary reduction in your interest rate that you can then refinance later. Things like that. Somebody who's going to think creatively for your situation and for your medium and long-term future. Buyers are most of the time holding houses for much longer than the 8 years that it used to be. It used to be 7, 8 years was the most people really held onto a home, particularly first homes. We're seeing more 10 and 12 years before people are moving on.
Wow.
So you're not thinking just the next 3 to 5 years most of the time now. You're thinking out a decade. So it's important that you have a lender that's going to help you think out that far.
Well, that's good outside the box thinking. It's the whole life lived backwards thing. When you're young, you don't have any money. When you're old, everything's paid off and you got all the money. Right?
Yep.
So you mentioned lenders. A lot of people don't understand the difference between just going to a bank and taking out a loan and going to a mortgage broker. Could you tell me some of the differences?
Yeah.
And why you would want to use maybe a mortgage broker instead?
More often than not, and every bank is different. A lot of the larger national banks are very in the box thinkers. They don't have any creativity. There's no movement anywhere. These are the qualifications. This is what you get. And there's no looking at a situation uniquely, where most mortgage lenders do have an opportunity. They have portfolio loans available, for instance. Some banks do, like First Security Bank does, where they have opportunities for more creative thinking and more room to work with a situation. One of the things we see often with people who are self-employed, for instance, their self-employment income more often than not is shifty. It moves just like in real estate. It shifts and moves. You have to look at things in a different term than what most banks are willing to do. So those are things that are really important, to have someone who looks at your situation with fresh eyes and a variable eyes. Most mortgage brokers, local lenders, First Security Bank is who I work with a lot, both with Matt Schieffer with First Security Banks, who I work with a lot because he's a very creative thinker. When I say creative, I don't mean he's like pushing fuzzy lines or anything like that, but actually looking outside the box and seeing opportunity where other large banks, for instance, may not, or if they're more very corporate, um, you know, in their thinking, which most large banks are, they're not thinking of anything except for just this box.
Okay. Seems like a mortgage lender is going to have a lot more opportunities out there shopping for you, doing the legwork.
They do. They have more, yes, different types of loan programs and things like that with more flexibility and movement opportunities where a lot of the big banks will not. And the online, internet mortgage companies, are just risky, in not risky as necessarily financially, but they're risky in a transaction because sometimes their communication is off in the East Coast and we've got tight timelines on the West Coast. It's going to be a challenge for them to meet the deadlines and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are huge factors in how well your offer as a first time, second buyer, whatever number of buyer you are, how you present to a seller is if you have a local lender that's really working it, doesn't do banker hours and only
Right.
work, just the 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, then your offer is going to be stronger than someone who comparatively isn't.
Right. Another first time home sellers. What's your ideal situation to set up for a new seller, first time seller? Staged, not staged, in the home, out of the home? What's ideal?
The ideal is really going to be circumstantial. The ideal is staged, yes. Can it be staged with the homeowner's furnishings? Probably. Sometimes we have to augment those. If vacant homes don't sell as well, people don't
Interesting.
see the space as well, unless some are very artistic and can see that way. I can't. I see things that are there, don't necessarily see them if they're not. So if you have a space that's hard, even great rooms can be very challenging. People think, oh, this open space, but depending on what kind of furniture the buyer has in their own mind, they may not be able to see their furniture in it. So it's important to stage in a way that offers the visual advantage of people being able to replace the existing furniture with their furniture, for instance. So it's always going to be best to be staged, and staging has different incremental levels of it, what needs to be done, and that is what a seller agent will work with you specifically on your home. A good agent always does that.
Right.
Whether to be in the home or not, there are some different ways, advantages to both. The inconvenience of the showing season, as I call it, when you're having showings, of having to be out and having everything just precision, just right before you leave and then get back and all that kind of stuff. If you're working all the time and you've got a family or multiple pets or things like that, where there's a lot to change or get ready, prepared, yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt. That's just the nature of it. If it's something where you have, for instance, a lot of things and you don't want to be able to pack up the whole house and move essentially twice because you want to take all this stuff, but you have to get it out of the house right now. Sometimes we're seeing a lot of people doing bridge loans where they'll purchase something, get a bridge loan, and then have the time to move from one place
Right.
to the other and be able to just move then at a more leisurely pace. So
And it
it's
seems like
really going to be
much less of a hassle.
it's much less of a hassle. It can be a little more costly because those kinds of short-term loans cost more, but it can be highly valuable and just make it better for you.
Okay. I saw a house recently that you staged and looked fantastic. Do you ever get feedback from the seller on the job that you've done with something like that?
Yeah, I do. And I personally use professional stagers because they have a full inventory of whatever the most updated furniture is going to be, the different size of the space. They have a variety of types of furniture, shapes and sizes of sectionals and all that. So I use a professional stager to do the homes that I list because it's just easier for me and it's done well and done quickly.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you see tend
I
to
should
slow
clarify
down?
on that. For
Oh,
vacant homes, I use professional staging.
okay.
Yeah.
What tends to slow down or speed up the sale of a home?
Unrealistic sale prices is what slows down a sale faster than anything. This is not 2020, 21. It is not 2022 even, where things were on the market for days and there were multiple offers on virtually
Mm,
everything
hmm.
when the interest rates are low. Interest rates are higher. The buyers that are out there are picky and they're going to, because they have to be. So they're going to be a lot more selective. Pricing it right out of the gate is going to get you more buyers in the door than if you overprice it thinking, oh, well, people will just offer me less. Biggest mistake a seller can ever make. As a realtor, I recommend a price range for you and to give you a scope of, if we price at this, you can expect more activity. If we price up here, you can expect people to be asking for concessions. All of those scenarios, it's always up to the seller to choose the price. But I will give you my recommendations of where I
Right.
think it will move most quickly.
Well, and you're in the business. Is it difficult to get your seller to trust you with that? This is their baby, right?
It's very much so. People who own a home, particularly if they've owned it for a long time, it's very emotional for them. This is because, especially if they're going through some other kind of life transition, they're downsizing, simplifying, moving for work, whatever. There are other factors in the selling. It's not just selling a house, it's selling their home.
Right.
And it can be a very emotional process.
So, being a home inspector myself, it's kind of a gilded question here. What is your ideal home inspection or home inspector?
Oh, absolutely. The most important thing is someone who is very detail oriented, looks for everything, but is also at the same time not an alarmist.
Mm,
I can't tell you how many, usually from the same company or two, inspection reports I've read where everything sounded was framed in a way that it was a freak out moment. I mean, so people are just panicking, thinking, oh my gosh, this sounds terrible. It's horrible, whatever, when it actually might have been just a comparison of this wasn't today's code, but it was the code when the house was built.
right.
Those very simple facts can make a very big difference on how you read it. So, not being an alarmist, but being very truthful and honest about what is out there and what maybe the ideal is, but understanding, being able to express that in a way that the ideal is not always realistic.
Right. Well, Susan Gregory, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Good luck and God bless you. I know you don't need luck. You're a hard worker and you've been blessed.
I am very blessed. I'm very grateful for what I get to do.
Thank you very much.